Young, dumb, and full of cum. Welcome back to my channel. Tyquan Love here, and you are my Love Tights. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching my last video. Those who have done so, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment on the video. And also, please make sure to hit the notification bell button to make sure you things going on my channel. Now, we have special guests in the building. I'm going to introduce them later. And they are going to be talking a little bit about what we went through in different situations in our lives. And we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Welcome back, Love Tights. We are here in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we have next to me to my right, who owns this beautiful home. And his name is?
I'm Terrence.
All right, and then we have another guest, as you can see to my left, and his name is?
Dominic.
And we are going to be indulging in some of the things that we actually went through in our marriages. How long was your marriage?
Well, I'm still in my marriage technically, legally separated, but about 4 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, but we've been legally separated for about 10 months.
Okay. Mine is, I'm still married as well. Not legally separated, but I am separated. About 2.5 years, or 2 years and some change.
Well, for mine, it was 5 years. 4 years, 1 year separation, and then the divorce, the 10 year.
Okay, thank you so much for the answers.
Yes.
So, what was it about the person that you met that brought you to actually be with them in the marriage?
For me, it was the maturity of that person. Just when I initially met him, he just was he had his own apartment, he was very stable, he was different than a lot of other people I dated before. He had a career, he was a teacher, he had goals, he had ambition, he had drive. That was really what attracted me to him in the beginning, yeah.
Okay, and for you?
Well, for me,
Give us the tea, Sarah. Give us the tea.
You know, it was the attraction first. You know, I was young. My story's different. I was very young when I got married. So the attraction, you know, I'm young and dumb, think I'm in love, you know.
Young, dumb, and full of cum.
Okay. So it was the attraction. He was very intelligent. He was very caring. It was.
Was he fine?
He was fine.
Okay.
6'7".
Ooh. Baller.
Okay. So that was the attraction.
Okay.
And the credit score.
Oh.
Okay, can't forget about that.
Yeah, forget about that.
That.
Well, I will say for me, the attraction to that person was, you know, he was independent. You know, he lived in another country when I met him, and he was doing things for himself, you know, and I wasn't the kind of person to try to be with somebody who was or wasn't, but that really attracted me to him. And then he had like a nice little petite body. He was like 5'5", something like that. Little red bone, you know, just real cute. And I mean, there were other things, and there were other things too, right? There were other things too, but I mean, for the most part, the independence was the attraction. Like with you, the independence, right?
Right, yeah.
So yeah. So what I want to know, you know, because I know for me it was a little bit different. I want to just let you all know that, like, for me, I had some red flags before the wedding. We were always arguing, me and him, and even when he lived in another country, we argued even then too. Those situations kind of made me think twice about getting married, but it was just interesting how I put myself in a situation to be with somebody who I kind of felt or knew wasn't right for me, but I still went through with it. How was that for you all?
Well, for me, I did not see any red flags. It was, from looking at, you know, back then, it wasn't a red flag.
And do you think that was because maybe you were, you know, pretty young?
Too deep and young, right? And I think it was a show. I'm just gonna be upfront.
A show? What do you mean, like a facade or?
A facade, yes.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any thoughts on that? Or?
I mean, I didn't see any red flags for me before
Before the
marriage.
marriage,
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't have any red flag, everything. But then again, my particular situation, we got married really quickly.
Okay.
After I met him. We got married about 2 months, 3 months actually, after I met him. So we moved pretty quickly, so maybe I just didn't have enough time to find red flags. Maybe if I had prolonged the dating, I could kind of find some things that would alert me. But yeah, we got married very quickly.
Yeah, I can relate to that because I got married pretty quick too. Even though we met in 2016 and we got married in 2017, which is almost a year apart.
Okay.
The situation between me and the person, I met him in September, we got engaged in October, and then he wasn't living in the country until June of the next year. And we got married in August, which was 2 months.
Right.
So we didn't really have time to date like you said.
Right.
You know? And you said you all had time to date pretty much? Or?
Yes, I had time to date because I was young. Then again, you know, it took a year.
Okay. Okay. So also too, when it comes to like the issues that we had in our marriage, even though I saw red flags before, you know, my situation, those red flags continued after the marriage started. So the issues that we had from the time we got married in August of 17 until December of 17 when he, you know, left, that 4 months was very critical to if we were going to be together or not. You know, he would argue, he would leave and wait a few days to come back. It was very like a roller coaster ride. You know. So as far as like getting into our marriage and seeing those issues, do you think that you had some of the nothing similar? What do you think, Terrence?
So as far as for me, I started to see red flags about probably 6 months to a year in the marriage. Certain things like he wouldn't really be conversational with me. He'd be very conversational with his friends more so than me. That was a definite red flag that I kind of ignored, but looking back, I realized that that was huge. That was something that I should have paid more attention to, dealt with, or kind of had a conversation with him as it was happening. But that was a huge one, looking back.
Okay. And Dominic?
So my red flag started with the hidden abuse.
Wow.
And the verbal abuse and physical abuse. So,
it's okay if you don't want to talk more about it, because I know that's a hard topic, you know?
okay.
If you don't want to, you know,
Yeah,
I'll get
I'll
it.
pass.
Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate you sharing that. For the situation that I was in, the relationship with my ex started to break down a whole lot when he decided to leave me the first time. It was right before Thanksgiving. We had an argument about driving down to Florida to see my family. And he made this remark that was like, oh, if you drive, I'm not gonna be with you. Because he would have rather me drive by myself, risking 14 hours of driving, or 16, whatever the hours were, and falling asleep and being in a car crash, because he didn't want to be a part of a car crash, so he would say. I realized then that the relationship, the marriage, was pretty much a done deal. He didn't care enough to say, oh, well, you know what? Let's figure this out. Let's ride together. Let's stop on the way. Let's sleep, whatever. I've done long distance drives before of more than 14, 15 hours. So I do know the consequences or the situation that can occur while driving. The issue for me with him was just the fact that I didn't think he cared. I didn't think he wanted to be a part of my life in that sense. I think that he was just with me for, as they say, quote unquote, the come up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was very hard to kind of realize that. So once he left that first time after the argument,
Right.
I decided to still go down to see my family, but I flew by myself. It was a hard Thanksgiving in 2017. A very hard Thanksgiving. You know, do you care to share about like the breakdown, like the actual end that you knew was the end when you finally checked out, I guess you want to call it?
So, after the abuse, which is verbal and physical, it was the apologies that held me down.
Continuous.
Right.
Apologies. Were they fake, you thought?
It was crying, oh, I'm sorry, sobbing and all that, you know. And now I could look back at that now, I can laugh about it now because, you know, I'm over it.
Right.
But it was the crying, the sobbing, and the whole I'm sorry thing caught me to go back into that relationship.
So the apologies that right now you knew were fake, but then at the time you thought were real, brought you back to say, you know what, let me give him another chance.
Absolutely. And so then let's say this abuse happened like, let's say the 1st of May. By the 25th, it's on again.
It's on again. Wow.
It was like a whole pattern that I couldn't, you know.
Yeah, that's a very deadly cycle in my opinion. You know, I don't want to get into what I think about abuse because I have been a victim to that too, abuse, and it's like, you know, you don't want to say that this person's a bad person because of the abuse. You just want to say to yourself, okay, well, this person's not a bad person. They're still good. They still love me. Some people think even they are hitting you because they love you, and that's just
not cute.
Not right.
That's not
you
cute.
know, not cute. Period.
Okay, make sure you bring your sisters, your mother, everybody up there to whoop his ass.
Exactly, and that's on purpose. And what about your breakdown or your last straw, I would say?
Yeah, kind of similar to you in regards to my ex not wanting to spend time with me. He was more into taking vacations without me, more vacations with his friends, excluding me. An afterthought, you know. The last straw for me was when he decided to take a job in another state. After we had moved together to a state for both of our careers. And he decided to take a job in a completely different state than where we lived without my consultation. He kind of, and I really didn't even have any input in it. He had already made up his mind that was what he was going to do. And I thought that was very unrelationship, unmarriage-like, you know? If you're in a marriage, I think a marriage is another level, right? You can be boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriends in a relationship. But I feel like when you're in a marriage, I mean, I think if you're in a relationship, you still should discuss things that are going to affect you both. And that didn't happen, you know, the fact that we were married and he still didn't find or see any harm in making a decision without me to go to another state, and him thinking that we would still be okay, we would still, you know.
I just think that's borderline deceitful, you know?
And very selfish.
Very selfish.
Yes. So that was the beginning of the last straw. I begged him not to go. He still decided to go. I pleaded with him not to go. I cried. Like it was a lot because I really did not want him to leave.
I would feel so stupid if I had to cry for somebody to stay and they don't want to stay and they still leave.
And they still left.
I would feel so stupid.
And that was my realization. I realized that I had cried my heart out on the floor in front of you. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was 12 o'clock in the morning, you know, and he was just looking at me speechless. And I had thought that he realized what this is doing to me and he wouldn't go. But the next day, he just went on.
He didn't care.
You know, so that hurt a lot. I continued though we continued with the relationship. I told him actually that if he did leave, that there's no point in us being married at this point because that's not what I had signed up for. If I knew that this was going to be the case, I would have never got married. You know, it's one thing if if bills are bad, if finances are bad, and the only way for us to be okay is for you to take a job in another state, and we both agree on that, then fine. You know, we are in agreement, and we're going to be working in this together. But it's a completely separate. It's a complete another thing if you just decide to do this, you know, on your own when there's no issues financially. There's no. I mean, I understand his justification for it is that it was better for his career, and in a way, I kind of understood that. But at the same time, it's not just about you. You know, we're married. You have to think for two people.
Yes.
You know, it's not just about you. So
it's a family. You know?
Yeah. Yep. Even though we didn't have kids, but still, at the end of the day, it's still a family.
Right. But you're saying you think about me as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was kind of the beginning of the straw. I decided to still try and work it out, do the long distance thing because I really did love him, but he wasn't putting in his part as far as communication. You know, I felt that since you decided to go away, I felt like you should be completely trying to communicate with me. It shouldn't just be always me texting you, trying to call you, hey, well, how was your day? You know, we're in a completely different state, and this is because you wanted to do that. You know, so
you both have to work at it. You know? And I know that there are some viewers out here who don't believe that working for a relationship is the way to go, but sometimes it is. Every relationship is going to be different. You know, you're going to have to do what works for your relationship, your situation. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
But I do want to ask Dominic, because now that you are divorced, what kind of advice can you give anybody out here, or even us, someone who has to go through it, you know?
I would say take counseling. It does help. It does help, you know, and create that bond with your therapist. And don't go changing, because I think that plays a part in it as well, right? So, therapy.
Okay. So I did do therapy last year. I still have to do more therapy for something different, but for the main reason was to get over the separation and the marriage, you know, being actually over and not blaming myself. Because I was blaming myself a lot. So you did therapy.
I did therapy.
I'm gonna do more therapy. Are you doing therapy? Have you done that?
No, and that's one thing that I do kick myself for not doing. I felt like if I did do therapy, I would have been a little bit better emotionally. But and it's my fault. I just never got up to do it.
I know in the community, the Black community, we kind of look down on you know, therapy or mental health discussions. Because you know, it's like, oh, I'm not crazy. We're not crazy. You know, Black people think they're not the crazy people. I mean, look at our system now. Look at our country. It's in shambles right now. And
Agreed.
But
yeah, for me, it wasn't that. It was more so maybe denial, and then me trying to justify with, well, I'm so busy with work. You know, I really don't have time. And is it really that bad? I'm okay. This is normal. Everyone goes through this. I'll be okay. I'll pick myself back up. But really, it really did affect me really bad. I'm better. I'm better. I'm still, you know, kind of still picking up a little pieces, but I'm better than when I was before when it started happening. But I wish I would have taken therapy.
I know for a situation of, you know, our magnitudes, we've dealt with a lot of things. We've dealt with some different experiences, obviously, and some hard times, some times of pain, times of hurt. Would it be safe to say that we all are not in communication with our exes?
I am not.
Absolutely not. And I can't be. I know where he is. But what about yourself?
We only communicate because there is one financial tie that we
Okay.
still have together, and so that's the sole basis of our communication. That's once a month, but that's going to end as soon as the divorce is finalized in the next month or two. But that's the sole communication that we have. It's solely based on a financial tie.
Okay. And do you think that after that's done,
Oh yeah.
you're not going to have any more communication with that person?
Oh,
Well,
100%.
With the ex, rather. Sorry.
Yeah, no, 100%. Will I ever talk to that person again? I don't know. I can't say I won't. There are exes that I thought that I would never talk to again,
Okay.
that I am in communication with, you know, after that healing has happened. So right now I'm not in that space. You know, I'm still very hurt from that and upset. But I'm not gonna say I'll never talk to that person again. Maybe after a year or two passes, maybe we,
Right.
you know.
Well, for me, as the legendary Wendy Williams said, it's an X for a reason. Okay? I do not talk to none of my exes.
Wow.
Ever.
That's strong. You know, I don't believe in not talking to my exes. I would like to. I mean, it's fine. Everyone has their own opinions. You know, I'm just saying for me, you know, I would not go that far to not talk to my ex. I still talk to many of my exes, but this particular ex, which is the one I'm still married to, he disappeared. So there's nowhere for me to find him. I will say like one closing thing, which before I had therapy, this is things that I had done. I will say that hurt people.
Right.
You know, and with that being said, you have to find a way to work through your pain and your hurt so that you don't hurt anyone else in the future.
Right.
So I do thank you all for sharing with me your stories.
You're welcome.
And any closing statements from you all as far as like what you may have learned from this?
Yeah, never give up on yourself. Always believe in yourself. Even when you feel like there's no way out, that you'll never get through this. I thought that I would never be able to rebound from this. I thought I was ruined, you know, but I didn't know my own strength.
All right,
you know,
yeah.
So yeah, don't give up on yourself.
Okay.
Good advice. I would say to the people out here, focus on yourself. Be yourself and pay attention to the little itty bitty things. It might not be big, but pay attention to the littlest thing. Be strong-minded. And that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you all for watching my channel with Terrence and Dominic. And we will see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.